Welcome to Case Law Videos. Honorable Mr. Justice Jahangir Jamshed Munir of Allahabad High Court in Ritu vs. State of UP observed that any person who considers himself or herself entitled to the minor's custody better than the mother can move and establish that right before a court of competent jurisdiction under the Guardians and Wards Act. A writ of habeas corpus can certainly be issued in matters relating to custody of a child where the child is in custody of a relative or a person who is not the lawful guardian, though not an utter stranger. A kinsman or a relative of the child, who holds the child in custody back from the lawful guardian, would entitle the lawful guardian to seek restoration of custody through a writ of habeas corpus. The question, whether the person who applies for the writ is the lawful guardian or not, is generally to be determined with reference to the personal law applicable to parties. However, the court may also inquire into for the purpose of determining the legality of the custody, from which liberation is sought, vis-a-vis the right of the person asking for the writ, the question of welfare of the minor. Under the provisions of the Act, the welfare of the minor is of paramount consideration. At the same time, Sections 17 and 19 of the Act and the said statute, as a whole, has been interpreted consistently to prevail over the personal law of parties when the question about appointment or declaration of a guardian or the custody of a minor arises. Section 6 of the Hindu Marriage Act, 1955, clearly provides that the mother is a natural guardian of the minor, and a wealth of decisions of courts in our country have been consistent that the welfare of a minor, which is of paramount consideration under the Act, also is best secured in the mother's hands. In the present case, the court interacted with the mother and the minor's grandmother and father's brother, respectively. The court also spoke to the minor. The minor, though a bright child, is still very young. He could not intelligibly express his wish or desire in the matter, though the court did notice that he appeared to be attached to the grandmother, which for a child his age is logical, inasmuch as he has been staying with her for some time. The mother came forward with an unqualified assertion of her right to hold the minor's custody. She expressed all that a mother would in normal circumstances. She stays with her parents. On the other hand, the minor's grandmother, an elderly woman and a widow, stays with her daughter and her son-in-law. Apart from the question of the necessary wherewithal to bring up the minor, the grandmother's advancing age would be a decisive factor to consider, in the opinion of the court. This court also notices that respondents have not come forward to undertake financial or other responsibility for the minor's upbringing. So far as the minor's father's brother is concerned, he candidly told the court that he has no objection if the minor is given into the mother's custody. This court also noted that the grandmother was very frantic about retaining the minor's custody. She told the court that her son, the minor's father, is dead and the minor means a lot to her. She is honest in expressing that sentiment of hers. But her feelings alone cannot qualify her to be the person with whom the minor's custody can best be entrusted. The mother, after all, is the natural guardian, under Section 6A of the Hindu Marriage Act, and the sole surviving parent. There is a presumption in favor of the parents taking best care of their children. In case of a mother, the presumption is very strong. Between the yearning grandmother and the mother, who claims custody of her child, certainly the mother is prima facie better entitled. At the same time, the grandmother and the father's brother, who are close kindred of the minor, are entitled to meet him. It is made clear that whatever this court has said is all tentative. Respondents or any other person who considers himself or herself entitled to the minor's custody better than the mother can move and establish that right before a court of competent jurisdiction under the Act. If an application is brought under Section 25 of the Act or other appropriate proceeding under the said statute, anything said in this judgment shall not affect the determination to be made by the court of competent jurisdiction. In the result, this habeas corpus writ petition succeeds and is allowed. Subscribe this channel or visit www.caselaw.in for more case law videos.